What's going on, peeps? We're back, top of the morning.
Hello, hello. You here with your girl, Miss Charlie?
As it should be. How you been, man?
I'm good. I've just been living lockdown life and
I hear
and
that.
preparing for the new lockdown life. I
I
mean,
know,
I,
I
I
know.
don't know. How are
Lockdown
you?
part 2.
Do you know what I mean? 2.0 out in this bitch. I
2.0.
mean, out in the scene.
Say that again. Out in the scene.
I said 2.0 out in this scene.
Yeah, exactly. Idiot thing. I just want to apologize to the people watching about man ain't got a trim. It's lockdown, so forgive me. But ladies, I'm still out here, so it's
I'm
all
not
good.
gonna lie, my hair needs a wash, so I'm with you on that. I'm with
Oh,
you on
cool. Wicked. Do you know what? Let me just get into it, yeah? This situation here.
that. Right.
Kaiden Nelson.
Cons. Coin? What do you call
Cons,
himself?
yeah. Does
Cons.
does anyone know what area he's from?
So apparently is it Mitcham?
Right, yeah, Mitcham. You're correct. Yes, it is.
Somewhere Wood / Mitcham.
Yeah. Mitcham, that's correct. Yeah, he's from Mitcham actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's
this
so
video, first and foremost, when did you see the video? Because I didn't see it until later on in the evening. But apparently this was flying through the
yeah.
media
You know
like
what?
pretty much instantly as it had happened. It was just flying, and so many people taking their kids to school in the morning and actually seeing this video.
Wow. For me, I woke up, went on social media as you do, and I saw it, but I never saw. I think when you're flicking through, I saw
Right.
I saw his head, right, and didn't read the caption. I just thought it was like some strange meme going around. So I had other pressing things to think about. And then it was one of those
You
days.
don't necessarily think you're going to see something that's so live and direct and happening literally just about an hour ago, or do you know what I mean?
And then it was my friend that sent it to me. And I was just like, I paid attention to it, and I was like, "Raw, nah, this is disgusting. This is disgusting. Like for me, like as a man and as a father, that's disgusting. Like the way he's even grabbed her on the CCTV and
Yes, that was mental.
like,
Apparently, this is not the first time he's done this. So apparently, he usually does this to boys that are going to school to
right,
get them to go and do country lines and stuff like that.
okay,
So he's used to this. He's used to this nasty behavior of just like literally abducting children. The way he did it so calmly, like he didn't like it just troubles me. Like this guy just rocked up on a road that was just like bright as day, early flipping morning, and you just grab her and just guide her
how do you wake
elsewhere.
up? How do you wake up in the morning and say, right, this is what I'm gonna go and do today? Like you think about, because every action you make, it impacts your whole surroundings around you. So your mom, so his family, so he's disgraced his whole family. Yeah, because I'd hate to believe that his
He's done
mom.
to that girl and what he's
Yeah,
done to her
exactly.
family now.
That's what I mean. One action, yeah. He's disgraced everybody and himself, and it's just like, how are you waking up in the morning? Isn't there nothing else you could have done? Like, I don't have the words, yeah.
No.
And it's like, what I know, a lot of people are not gonna wanna. Are probably not going to probably agree with me. Is I would like to know what's gone wrong in his life for him to even go down that path, because we need to look at this as not just as, oh, okay, another rapist, yeah, on the streets, get him off, kill him, burn him, a pedophile. Why does he think like that? Why is he ill? That's illness.
I hear you. I do hear you. I mean, to some degree, yes, there's gonna have been something that's trickling through his lifeline that has caused him to be that way. But actually, I think at this point, sitting here as a mother, like, I don't care. The words I want to use, I can't say a morning. you know, I can't. But I mean, bring back the death penalty, bring back, you know, chastise this man. Like,
He shouldn't be allowed to work anywhere. He shouldn't be allowed to do anything. He needs to go into some kind of psychiatric ward. And the trauma, like when you hear the girl, by the way, I hope she's okay, and I hope, you know, all my feelings and everything goes out to you.
right.
And also shout out to the girl that actually followed through. She's a G,
Yes.
certified G.
It was a girl who then called her sister and her mum.
Right.
And her older sister then followed the guy.
Yeah.
On the you know, with her phone on live or something, right? Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's so, like, this is the one time it's been caught on camera in this way. And actually, how many times does this happen and it's not caught? Do you know what I mean? How many times do these things happen and we're not around? I think now a lot more people are vigilant. And I think sometimes, even just myself, like sometimes I'll see things on the road and I'm thinking, that looks a bit iffy. Is everything okay over there? And like now I almost have this like instinct to just kind of like, just walk slower, just watch. Don't walk away unless I feel comfortable walking away from that situation, unless I feel like, oh, maybe I misinterpreted it. Or, you know, and it's just, and I know of so many other people who are just like, actually, I just get my phone out straight away and just start recording, because just in case. And I think, I know this might sound a bit eccentric or a bit too out there for some people, but actually, I think the Black community need to stand by each other and support each other, because we know we don't get much support from local authorities. We don't.
I can go on about that situation there.
Might shoot me for that, but whatever. That's just my point. Do you know what I mean? That's my view. I don't think that we are treated the same. I don't think we get the same urgency. I don't think we get, you know, the same media coverage. I don't think we get the same human rights. I don't think we get treated fairly. But I think we do need to stand together. And I think seeing that video, one, it shocked me to the core. Two, I mean, there's so many other issues with it that I will unpack later. But two, it kind of made me feel like, do you know what? Thank God for those other people that thought, that don't look right.
I know there's a lot of people that would have just walked away.
You know, and I think we need to do this more. Look how quick it spread. Look how quick and how fast that news spread. Have you seen it on the news yet?
I don't think I have.
I don't think I have.
This is why I thought I need to holler at you, and we need to get something out there, because it's not even being covered in the news at all. I haven't seen it anywhere. We're talking about bloody Biden and Trump. You know what I mean? And that's American politics. Let's talk about like what's going on right here in the country and everyone's doorstep.
Right, exactly.
Getting super coverage.
Exactly. I mean, you were mentioning earlier you had a friend who went up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also had a friend who went up there. Yeah. And I was speaking to another friend of mine and her friend had gone up there. I think it's that support network we really do need. Like I watched from my friend's video when he went up there, like he was talking to the police and he had a positive conversation with one officer and he asked them to move further up the road. They moved further up the road and then more police came. They called for more backup and more police came. And then these police officers were like, okay, section 60, stop and search. And the way how they were treating the people who came was like, you're just potential criminals. You're just standing here. You could have anything on you and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, maybe you're right. And maybe that's how you have to work. But would you have been the same way if that was a bunch of mothers? If that was a bunch of, I hate to say it, but if that was a bunch of white mothers in a middle class area, would you have put out a section 60 and started searching them?
I don't think they would have. And also shout out to all the mandem that went to the yard and, you know, was locating in the area and was just calling. And I think,
because there was people outside the house well before there was police outside the house. And I wonder if the police got their intel on addresses from the internet, because people were posting addresses on the internet of this guy.
I think it's sickening by the police officers. I tell you what, it's definitely sickening by the police officers to have stopped anybody else besides that brother. Because at the end of the day, police would have known that if there's people there and they're coming to do the guy something, yes, even if they had a tool on them or whatever, but you know why they're there. A girl almost was abducted or whatever. there's no reason why you need to be troubling them, man. That should have been a day where it's like, all right, cool. We ain't gonna stop none of you lot, but you lot just need to go home, yeah, or stand over there. You shouldn't be.
Officer said to them.
Shouldn't be bringing up Section 16.
I don't have an issue with police officers. I have an issue with the justice system, and then I have an issue with like certain police officers and their attitudes and the way how they carry themselves. So I don't necessarily have a massive issue with like the net police, but I have an issue with the justice system and the way how certain individuals within the police force carry themselves.
Makes no sense.
I think like, it's so evident that there are different types of human people and there are different types of officers, therefore they are human people. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I just don't respect the way how some of them speak to us and spoke to the likes of my friends, your friends, you know, friends of friends who went down there.
Yeah, of course.
You know, who were so troubled, left work, big grown men with tears in their eyes watching this video thinking, how the fuck? Sorry, I keep with the bad language. I need to stop, but it's just, I can't deal. It touches me way too much. I just can't keep cool. But you know, like I had seen it in the evening, and I was like, oh my god, this happened this morning. Wow. And I was happy at the response from our community. I was happy that there was 3 addresses dashed out there on the internet for him. I was happy that there was man post outside every one of those addresses. I was happy that, you know, the community had responded so much faster than the police had, to the point where my friend was chasing the man. They chased him down. They couldn't get him because he was on a bloody electric scooter, and all of them had left their cars parked up. But you know, like, we have to be more organized and we have to support each other, because we don't necessarily get that same support from the authority.
I can definitely speak on the authority situation in terms of with this like pedophilia case. I don't really wish to digress into information, but there's something that's happened, and yeah, the police, they just take their time. Especially, it just seems like if it's something to do with like a black child, they tend to do a lot of waffling, going around, wasting time, doing meeting after meeting, interview after interview, chatting after chatting, and actually not proceeding with anything. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. That's one thing. The second thing with the police thing that really disturbed me is that, you know, that there's a pedophile here. So stopping anybody to do any Section 60 was a waste of time. And actually you're a waste man, because you're just trying to now get like a bureaucratic arrest to say, oh, we arrested someone today, Sergeant. But the guy is upstairs in the house, that's the pedophile, and you're worrying about somebody carrying some kind of tool that's going to use it on him. And on top of that, I do feel like in this country, why is it that if you're a pedophile, they protect you? You shouldn't get protection from the police.
This is what I'm saying. And then
you should get no protection.
And when they go into prisons, they're still protected. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I understand that isolation is something that, you know, after weeks is scientifically proven that the brain will start to deteriorate. But the reason why you're putting this person in isolation is so that he does not get abused on the ward. But yet this man is an abuser. And like somebody said to me, okay, so if this man was your son, would you still believe that he should get death penalty? I said, if this man was my son and I didn't know that that's what he was doing and he was living under my roof, I may kill him myself. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I mean, if it was my son, it's funny. If it was my son, the thing is that if that was my son, do you know what?
I wouldn't be protecting him.
I know he shouldn't get protection, but if it was my son, I don't know how I would feel. I'm not going to say he should just get protection, because at the end of the day, that means I'm condoning pedophilia. And if I had a son and my son was doing pedophilia, I can't condone that. And I'll be stressed out, because I'll be thinking, what have I done as a parent to even get you to be thinking like that?
And actually that goes back to what you were saying a little while before, which is like, what has he gone through?
It's an illness. It's an illness. And what makes it worse though is, all right, cool. You touched on something that's actually really interesting. You said our community, needs to obviously be stronger and come together. That's cool. But then we need the same energy for Prince Andrew and them man them there. We need that same energy. If we're going to have the energy for this one black guy, for what he's done. Yeah, cool. Forgetting the color of his race. If we're going to give all this energy to this guy, then we need to give that energy to the to everybody across the board in the country. So if we're gonna start giving out addresses, where's the Queen's son? Where is he? Where is he?
I hear you.
They was quick to write off Epstein. Where is he? Why ain't no one giving up his address? We shouldn't condone paedophilia in this country or in the world, period. So if we're going hard for my man, we need to go hard for my man too. Straight.
I agree. And you know what?
Hopefully I'm still alive, you get me, after saying that. But it is where it is. I feel that way. Obviously, I know where it is, and do you know what I mean? But that I need to make sure that I put that across, because we're always quick to okay, I don't condone what this man has done, and he's a black man, so I have to speak from a black man's perspective in this particular instance here, is that when black people do things wrong, our energy is high, right? For everything. And when it's not, the energy ain't the same. And when someone else has done the exact same crime. So if we're all riding,
at this point, I think the difference is at this point, it's like we've been in lockdown, we've come out of lockdown partially, we're going back into lockdown. It's like we are not in our normal routine. We are not like robots living on 9 to 5 anymore. We have a whole worldwide pandemic. We are taking to social media a lot more. We are finding new ways to find ourselves again and creating our new norm. And I think right now, I think as a community, we have realized that actually we do need to pull together. Whether that's going to the shop for the elderly who can't go to the shop, whether that means doing it for the elderly in your own family or within your community, whether that means like pulling together to help with childcare, to help with whatever, keeping to your bubbles, you know. But I think we've created this new norm, and social media has taken a rife upholding position within that new norm. And I think, you know, it was so accessible for you know, people to just be like, okay, that's his address. Okay, this is what's happened. Okay, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to show my support. You know, even during this lockdown with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, we have shown support in so many different ways. We have had multiple protests across Europe and even different parts of, you know, of the globe, let alone different parts of London or different parts of England. And we've been able to get this information really quick. And we've been able to act on this information really quick. You know, and whether people want to discuss whether protests are actually helpful or not, that's a different conversation. But actually, this information and this age right now, this era that we're in right now, is so many people are looking to social media before they're actually looking to news outlets. You know, like personally, I do believe that, you know, social media does play a damaging role in our community at the same time as it does an uplifting role, or at the same time it can become a tool, like in this instance where it was a major tool, not only to record the person, but then to expose the person, but then to everybody else to jump in and be like, yep, here's another picture of him, here's a better picture of him, this is his name, oh, by the way, this is his address. You know, like it's played such a crucial role in this. And I think the time that we're in right now, I think it's going to continue like this. I hope it continues like this. And I hope that people, you know, as like I said, our community, I hope we do stand together. I hope this has wisened us up, because a lot of my friends I've heard them say stuff like, you know, I knew these things happened, but I'd never seen how quick and how easy it can happen, you know. And unfortunately, as a woman, the things that I've been through and the trauma that I faced in my life, I saw this, and the same way how everybody else was like brought to tears, I was in shock, but I wasn't brought to tears. I was, you know, it was almost like, oh my God, yeah. As a kid, I remember when guys used to do that. I remember when guys used to come up behind you and put their arm around you, and all of a sudden they're turning you and you're walking in a different way. And it's like, no, I'm going to school, or no, I'm with my friends, or, you know, this behavior is like, how can I explain it? Certain things about this case and what has happened reminded me so much of my childhood, reminded me so much of what young females go through in general. And I think it was, yes, it's traumatic and it was shocking, and it's you know, in no way, shape or form am I condoning any of this, but I'm thinking it's too prevalent. It's too prevalent in our communities. It happens every single day, and we need to be more vigilant, you know? And I think that's the point I'm trying to get to here. Like, we need to be using our social media. We need to be coming together and standing up for these things. Like, I just think it's shocking how, maybe it's not shocking, because actually, as people, we stand stronger in numbers than the police force. Let's be honest. There are more of us. We are just unorganized. That's the issue. But yet we have proven to ourselves and to each other that, one, we can be organized, and two, we can do something about it. You know, and I just hope that we continue to do things about this. And, you know, I was watching Sideman, he was talking about this yesterday on his Instagram, and he was saying, as bad as it is, and as much as he doesn't want to say it, he's like, please people, don't let your kids walk to school by themselves. Not shaming or blaming those parents at all, because you should be allowed to walk to school by yourself at 11. You should be more than okay to walk, you know, to school by yourself. But actually, we have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant, and we have to be careful. And also, another thing that he spoke about was speaking to your children about these things. Month in and month out, speak to your children about these things. Question your children about these things. Ask your children, have they ever, you know, faced any of these issues? And he was talking about the fact that he had spoken to many of his female friends who he then had conversations about, and they were like, yeah, these things had happened to me. He was like, he has plenty of female friends who he's the only one who they've ever told, because he's the only one who's ever asked.
Right.
You know, and it just kind of rings alarm bells. And I think we really need to be woken up, because to say, oh, I knew these things happened, but wow, I've never really, to this degree, it's like, yes. And actually, from reports from the police, this thing happens more inside families than it does with strangers.
Yeah.
So we need to be vigilant. We need to. And as a community, we need to stand together.
No, I agree, man. Like, I really feel for that girl. Like, I really feel for her, man, because I don't know what she would have been feeling like, you know, that. And the thing is that there was a comment on my on the YouTube, and someone was just like, you know, he's gonna be out 5 or 6 years with a new identity. Yeah. That's rubbish, man. As a country, we gotta do better than that, man. People like that shouldn't be allowed to come back on the streets, man. Like they just shouldn't, you know, because the thing is that you know, had that lady who didn't intervene, this girl now could be in country lines. You know, she may never come out. She'll be one of those girls that, you know, when you see when they're like smoking cigarettes, or they just look like washed up, say cigarettes, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, someone that's just like looking like someone that just looks washed up, and you think, wow, what happened to your life?
Older than her age.
Yeah, that could have been the beginning. That could have been the beginning of her going into like a sex trafficking drug ring. Not even it could have been. That was gonna be the start. And I feel it for so many other people that have been through that. And I just think, for somebody that was prepared to put her in such an environment that she was not willing to be a part of, he should just not come out.
He should be lost in the prison system, right?
Look at that. He just shouldn't come back. You was ready to put this young lady that has got everything going for her in her life, right? And you felt like as if you was God, and you was prepared to take that away from her. You was ready to take away her life for your gain. Couple of bills at that. Nastiness. Nah, man. That brother shouldn't come out still. Cons, yeah. You conned yourself. Just what's
No, it's true. It's true though. I mean, I'm not, you know, some kind of mental health professional or whatever, and I'm definitely not looking from the point of view that, okay, this man needs help. Maybe he does need help.
He does need help
As a
because
mother,
he's sick.
all I'm
He's
now
ill.
thinking is that girl needs help. You know,
Well, she
that
needs
girl
more
is
help.
gonna
Yeah.
need therapy. She's gonna. What kind of anxiety issues is she gonna have now? What kind of
Yeah.
mental health issues is going to be inherited because of this? And yeah,
I
I'm
think
definitely not looking at this one from a point of view of this man needs help.
he
Right
needs
now,
help. He needs help because he's sick. But the help that he's going to get, he should never come out of the prison system. He should never come out.
You know what? Random question. Well, not really that random, but do you think that people like that can change?
What a good question to ask. Also, people that are watching this, tell us in the comments as well, do you think somebody can change? Yeah. Do I think somebody can change with behavior like that? No, I don't.
No.
I think that if you put them in an environment where they can get away with it, they'll immediately go down that road again. I know people can change, but I just think that pedophilia is something that's unchangeable. Like, I don't know, if you're shot in drugs or something here, cool, you can change and then you can go and work, cool. If you're out here chinging and queffing people, yes, you can change your life. But I just think a pedophile is always just going to be a pedophile, and if you work and make more money, you're just going to find other ways, because there's you can get away with that. Nah, I don't think you can change. I don't even know how you begin to formulate that kind of thought process. You can't blame the school system. You can't blame the school system to say that they taught you to be a pedophile. I refuse to blame your mum and your family that you've disgraced as well, that they taught you.
Unless, I mean, it's not like I'm here trying to defend him in any way, shape or form, but you can't blame his family unless they are the cause. And more than likely, these families are the cause. If you look at R. Kelly and all of the that he was up to, and then you look at his childhood, he was abused as a child. Not to condone any of what he did or to blame himself, but he was abused as a child from family members, right?
Okay.
So an argument could be that his family did make him that way. But I mean, I ain't lock him up, throw away the key.
His mum.
I'm not here for it.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, nevertheless, I hear you. And as well, though, I think as well, for people that are watching this or gonna watch it, or people who may come across this actually, is that I think when we're talking about things like this, whether it's pedophilia or whether it's drug trafficking or whether it's murder, there's always people always have to have this is wrong and disgusting. Let's first and he should do the time. But there's always another side to where you have to start analyzing this man's illness, like you're saying. Did he learn this from home? Is this something that he's learned from home? Where has these ideas conspired from? And like I said, he's ill, and yeah, he needs help. I mean, he needs help because what he did there is wrong. And to your question, obviously, I said I don't believe he can change, but maybe with the right help, he may. But it still doesn't take away the fact that, for me, Fredo said it the best. You got man out here doing pedophilia, and you're given a couple of years, but you got man just trying to shot a product, and you're giving man 25 years. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't make any sense.
It shows that the justice system is more worried about people
young black men making money
than they are about people abusing other people and enforcing trauma into people's lives, which is then in turn, they could argue, the people who they're selling drugs to, maybe it's going to mess up their lives, and you don't know what effect it's had on them. It's actually, do you not realize what effects this is now going to have on this young person, or could possibly have on this young person. And actually, when she grows up into her adult life, the relationship she forms with her children, if she eventually has children, you know, then those children's lives, because we think this stops there. It doesn't stop here.
It's forever. It's,
you know, like,
forever.
exactly.
It's
And, you know, the things that I have been through, the way that I don't want my daughter to go through those things, I know that maybe another parent may look at me and be like, wow, you're talking to your 7-year-old child about these things? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Whether it's due to the trauma I have been through and the anxiety that these issues give me now, or whether it's because actually we are living in this world and we need to wake up to this stuff, and we need to be vigilant, and we need to have these conversations with our kids. So whichever way you know, spin it, it's going to change the rest of her life and the rest of her family's life. Yeah, it doesn't stop here. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't stop when he let go of her and walked away. It did not stop there. It begun. The aftermath begun there, you know? That
lady should get an MBE. You know what I mean? That went in there, and, you know, because, you know, a lot of women would have been just intimidated just by the words he was using to think, I don't want none of this. Do you know what I mean? A lot of women would have been intimidated by the way he was speaking and thought, you know what, forget this. And a lot of people as well would have, I think a lot of people even would have seen that situation there and thought to themselves, well, she ain't saying nothing, so maybe she's all right.
And this is what upsets me, because I was talking to somebody and they said to me, why did the girl do that? I said, who are you talking about? What do you mean, why did the girl do what? I said, what on earth do you think that she did? Don't you dare blame the victim. We're not doing that here. We are not. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I it just shocked me that people actually have that mentality. Like, the girl, if somebody came up to you and said anything, any threatening thing, it could be anything, and then tell you to be quiet, you have to remember she's an 11-year-old child. Yes, you have to remember that she is not accountable for what he is doing to her. And so it's like, it's then an issue of like victim shaming. Right? So it really, really upset me when I heard people saying that. But she didn't say nothing there. But she weren't shouting for help. Was she fearful for her life? Had that like that function and that need been taken away from her because she then feared something greater would happen? You know?
This is what I'm saying. I agree. That, do you know what I mean? That's why, like, if I'll keep it real, actually. Forget this. Like, I'll keep it real. Like, if that was me and I'd pursued that and she wasn't saying anything, I could have just been like, yeah, you know what? Maybe they're just rolling together. Do you know what I mean? Because from when she wasn't saying anything, and I understand why she wasn't saying anything, because of the shock and the fear that would have been in her heart, to think, rah, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where, like, it's shock and you just like you freeze, innit? So she was in a freezing moment. But obviously I never got to see her face. But had I approached that situation and I didn't identify a fearful anxiety look from the girl, especially at that point when he says, this is man's family's, bro. Like, who am I to say that that's not your family? And what if I'm sticking my nose into someone's business because I'm profiling this man too? Because that's a whole nother mindset that I know I would have. And I know a lot of people that are watching cannot tell me they wouldn't feel like that, where if he's turned around and said, that's family, bro, and obviously the fear of the girl is not enabling her to speak out and say, I don't know this man. Who am I to say that's not his family? Who am I to say that that's not? So it's just like,
this is why we need to wake up and think about these things. Because if you are struck by fear, or you are told that there will be some kind of innate, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Response, which is not the word I'm looking But anyway, but if you're if you're told that, okay, there's going to be some kind of like reaction if you do this, if
Yeah,
you do this, I will do this. You
yeah.
know, you are taking away that not human right, but that human instinct to shout out for help.
Yeah,
You're
he took
taking
that right away from her.
frightening them, you are threatening them, you are, you
Mhm.
know, there's so many different reasons as to why somebody may not shout out. That girl could have even turned around and shouted out, leave me alone, I'm fine, leave me alone. Because actually, maybe he could have said, you need to tell them to leave you alone, otherwise I know where you live. I watched you this morning walk out your house.
Yeah.
When you eventually get to school, watch what you come home to. Or he could have
Mhm.
said anything. He could have said
Exactly.
anything. She's an 11-year-old child.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I rate that the lady that did that. I need you to know, thank you. Thank
Yes,
you very
thank you.
much.
Thank
Because
you. And we all need to take lead from her. And
yeah.
we all take lead. And also that little girl, that vigilant little girl who saw it in the beginning and
Oh
decided that's
yes, 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 yes.
I need to call my mom and my sister and yeah, I need to go to
But she
school.
could have
But
just walked on and just thought, well, I don't know if that was her friend. I'm not sure. But if she didn't know the girl and she just thought whatever,
that doesn't look right.
and it doesn't look right, and just went on with her day. Again,
Mm.
we don't know the. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
What would have been a case at the BBC saying, oh, a girl's missing, or her parents would have been told fill out a missing form. That's what would imagine if that young girl didn't actually go to her mum and her sister. What would have happened was they would have just said, yeah, there's a missing form. No, fill out a missing report form, and we'll try and see where she is from 24 to 48 hours. But all now we don't know where she is. Manchester, Birmingham, is she even still in the country? We wouldn't have known if it wasn't for that young girl that went and called her sister. But also, I gotta rate the woman that kept walking, kept going. When the guy was trying to use intimidating words, she kept going. She actually approached the guy like she thought, forget this. She went all the way. And then as soon as you got close enough and the girl started saying, crying, like, that's the part I felt it. That girl deserves at least, I don't know, what's it, an OBE, MB, need to give her something. They need to give her something. They need to give her something because, boy, I don't even know where that young girl would have laid her head that night.
I don't even want to think about it.
But the schools, to be honest with you, I don't know where she was and how far she was from the schools, for example. But you know what? Schools should take action from this, right? And actually, if children are going home, the teachers actually need to just start following the children to the bus stops. I'm not saying they have to follow the children all the way home, right? But get them to the bus stops and see all the children going to the bus stops and make sure that there's a route that you take all the children to centralize to get a bus. Obviously, children end up wandering off, but I'm, solve that. Or let's be like how, I don't know, I used to watch a lot of like American films back in the day when I was a youth. There used to be a school bus. Why can't then schools just have school buses and you pick up children from certain location points? At the end of the day, why don't the schools, if they talk about data protection and protecting the children, why doesn't the schools and the government come up with a fund to support parents? Because you want us to be at work, right? Yeah, until 7, 8 o'clock for these corporate companies, right? But we ain't got nowhere to put our youths.
Yep.
So why don't you then, if you want us to be at work till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, because let's keep it real, yeah? Even if this child's parents don't work or do work, but I'm gonna go with the assumption that they work, right? And they've got some kind of job, and I want to believe that. Let's use the scenario that their job finishes at 5, 6, so they can't pick up their youth. And then this situation has obviously happened. This situation could be prevented if the government and the schools came together and actually came up with a school bus system.
Yeah. Or a walking bus system, especially for those who live closer as well. Like, I mean, I coordinate a detached team as one of my jobs.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of like walking bus stuff. So we will walk the kids to and from the local youth hubs back to home. We sometimes do like once a week, we'll do after schools. Well, it used to be 3 times a week, but these things we need the funding in order to have these people on the streets. for my job. Do you know what I mean? But this is why I say, as a community, we need to come together more.
Mm.
Because actually, like where I live, there's a school across the road from me.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter doesn't go to that school. She goes to one that's further away, and therefore she will never be able to walk to school by herself. But these kids who can walk to and from this school within, you know, this area, and they're within walking distance, there needs to be some kind of, like, whether it's going to be done by the schools and the PTA, or whether it's done by the community or the friends, you know, and have these systems. Okay, I'm going to pick up my child today. You are my neighbor. You live around the corner. You live there. I'm going to watch out for your kids on the way home. They're going to meet me at the gate. We're all going to walk back together. Today's my day. Tomorrow's your day. The next day is her day. The next day is his day. You know, like it actually, it's not that difficult. We are just unorganized. We are so unorganized, and we are taught to, like you said, be a robot, go to work until these stupid o'clock hours, not even be around for your own children, to the point where you may need to pay some of your hard-earned working money to then pay somebody to do the job you should be doing at home whilst you're out here working for somebody else. Do you know what I mean? And we are just so unorganized and so desensitized to the fact that this is an issue, and we need to be supporting each other. And it's so easy to cause propaganda and to get people to separate and to you know, go into your own little bubble, as like a better word right now, and just protect your own. But actually, who's protecting your own when you're not there? You know, this is why I say, as a community, we need to come together and we need to wise up. Because like I do for work, and I organize these walking buses, and I organize for these people to be out on the streets, to be watching these kids when they're leaving schools, to be going to the local parks and seeing what's going on. Like, we see the different types of people. We see, you know, young people getting roped into stuff. And it's like, okay, well, if we're seeing this, we need to do something about it. Exactly. We need to watch out for these kids.
Exactly.
Whether it's voluntary, whether you're being paid to do it.
I just think they should just in the school bus.
We should come together and do these, literally do these things. It just takes organization. Yeah, it does.
School bus thing. Like where I've worked in like an SEN setting, you know, all those children in them schools are dropped home. So,
and that's because they are deemed vulnerable. They cannot get home by themselves.
That we should. Then you know what? I believe that then we should actually reevaluate what an under 16-year-old and under 16 or under 18 as vulnerable.
Yeah.
We should
consider children are seen as vulnerable.
So if children are vulnerable,
and like we are seen as children, I think it's now up until you are actually 25, I think it is.
No, we shouldn't allow any children in primary and secondary school to actually go home alone. The system should provide,
and we should be funding. Yeah, we should be funding these things through taxpayers' money.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I wouldn't have no problem being taxed the stupid amount I get taxed.
Yeah, for
tax money was actually supporting children to get home safely.
From home, you want us to go to work, right?
Or to get to school safely.
So exactly. So we can't do both, because guess what? Ironically, the time people start work is the time their children's meant to be at school. So you know what? Create a bus system to protect our kids, because this is not the first time, this ain't the last time, and as uncomfortable of a feeling as it is in my brain, that's happened today, and it's going to happen tomorrow. As uncomfortable as that is to think, it's happening now. Right now, that same thing that happened to that girl is happening to another girl now. We have to make that change today. It's not something that we can talk about. We don't need to march about it. We just need to get onto the government and actually get them to actually start introducing a school bus system. Straight. If you're a parent and you're unable to take your child to school because you got work, or pick up your child because you have work, then the school that child should be then.
You know what, I don't understand, you know, what the budgets are, what the political budgets are, and so on and so forth. But the government has now, you know, we have free bus fare for children who are in education, right? We have the Oyster card system. I mean, I don't know if they've changed it much since I was at school. I'm assuming they have. But how much funding do we put into that? do our government put into that?
We can scrap that. Put all that money into the taking.
Exactly. TFL cannot protect our children.
No.
Especially now with COVID. If something is happening on that bus, is that bus driver even allowed to get off, get out of his seat, come round and come onto the bus and deal with an issue? I'm pretty sure that bus drivers are taught that that's not their place.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with COVID. So genuinely, we need a system that is actually here to protect our kids, not just to walk to the bus stop, get on maybe 3 buses or 2 buses or 1 even, and then walk from there to your school.
Yeah, that's fine. But the children, you know what? When you really deep it, right? They don't need this Oyster card. They just need to get on the school bus, because guess what? Right. They're going to get on the school bus and they're going to chat to their friends anyway. All their friends that they're going to chat to them anyway on the school bus. Simple and plain. And at the end of the day, if they are misbehaving on that school bus, at least the driver or the teacher that's accompanying the driver can actually tell them off if they're chatting rubbish or troubling somebody on the bus. There's a lot more positives than them. We don't need to be giving TFL all this money. First of all, the children need to be staying in their own bubbles as it is. So why are we mixing bubbles anyway? Scrap that and do the school buses. Scrap that. That actually makes sense. Scrap that. Scrap the bus pass and just let them do that.
You got a good point.
Yeah, or reduce it. So like, okay, cool. I don't know, because everything is computerized. So even if you defund half of the money, because you got the other factor is, okay, cool, children shouldn't pay for travel, and obviously parents are going to end up paying more. All right, cool. Well, slash the budget in half then, and make it that during school hours, for example, that Oyster card can't work because they've got to be on a school bus. And then you know what? Maybe after 5 or 6, when they're only with their parents, then the Oyster card can tap. Because what's a child tapping the Oyster card anyway at 6, 7 o'clock at night anyway? What's the child doing that for anyway, if they're not with their parents anyway? So
to be honest, there's a lot of like logistics that would need to be ironed out.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that's not even mine or yours place to have to do that. These things should be in place. Our government should be talking about these things. They should put us there. Me and you can start a petition.
We could. Do you know what? Yeah, cool.
You know, these things as a community, we need to be more organized, and we need to do these. We need to actually take action and ask for these things or demand these things, you know? And we need organization. That's what we need. Organization.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, guys, Charlie, we're going to be back there. Top of the Morning Show is back via Zoom.
Yes, we are back.
As we're in lockdown. Like, comment, subscribe, cuss my ball patch if you want, say something. Follow UK ISN on the socials. If you want to talk to me directly on Twitter, I'm always on there talking to madness. Isaac Semwanga. Charlie, let them know.
Find me at MSCHARLI, Miss Charlie, on Instagram. And that is it. I don't really use my Twitter. I don't really use my Facebook. So yeah, find me on Insta.
Cool, guys. But we're back. So let us know how you feel about this as well. And yeah, man, God bless you. God bless that girl. Don't know your name, probably for data protection reasons. Shout out to that real G that followed that donut all the way. You get me? And all the people that went out there supporting as well, that was at the house. Respect.
And looking for him.
And looking for him. Respect to all of you lot for all your hard work. And apparently he hasn't been caught. So guys, let's wrap this up, man. Let's just wrap this up. Let's just wrap this up. And let's just get the guy caught. And for people that believe that he needs help, let him get.
I think he has been caught. I read yesterday that he'd been caught later in the evening, but who knows? I
saw on Facebook this morning that he hasn't been. That he's still on the road.
Yeah, you see, there's too much up and down.
That's it. And yeah, also to the girl's family, stay strong. I don't have the words, but I feel it for you out there. And yeah, man, if the guy, let's just get the guy arrested, and then if he needs help at that point, then yeah, I guess whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
My heart says send him to the mandem.
Yeah. I'm on that point. I'm at that point of sending them to the mandem.
It's bad. I know, but Yeah.
The reality is that
So many
he's
parents
probably
out there.
not going to see the man there. He's going to get an identity change, and also the thing is
With
that
our taxpayer money, you know.
I
With
know,
our taxpayer money. He's
but the
going to go
reality is,
be on an isolated ward, come out, different name, supported housing,
yeah,
maybe even going to give him a free move. Like,
yeah,
I'm
free yard, and all sorts. And I just, that's
on our
all part
money.
of that is disgusting.
No
If he is going to live somewhere, because I understand the whole liberal aspect of like people make mistakes and people do dumb stuff, but he shouldn't get a yard. Put him in a B&B then. Put him in a B&B.
Don't put him in a B&B. Don't. For me, I genuinely feel there should be hostels for people like this.
Yeah, but he shouldn't get nothing nice.
And you know how you can look on the sex offenders register. You should be able to see this hostel is specifically for sex offenders. This is where the hostel is.
Yeah.
Until you can somehow prove that these people have been reformed, they shouldn't even be allowed to just roam street as and when.
No,
they should be chipped. They should be ankle. What would you call them?
He should be on tag.
Yeah.
He should be on tag
They should be
forever.
able to know
You know
who
what?
you
Yeah,
are.
if he's not gonna kill him, then yeah, he should be on tag
school,
forever.
To what time you are where?
Yeah, he should be on tag forever because before we go, I just hate the fact that in this country, and I gotta say it again, we're more interested in somebody selling an ounce of coke than a pedophile because he's gonna get 4 or 5 years and gonna be on road again. That's what's sickening about this country, and that needs to change. He needs to go and do time and not come out, because really and truly, he was ready to like really fuck up this girl's life. So I'm all for killing him, but the reality of the situation, because maybe if it was in Africa or maybe if it was in the Caribbean, the scenario is different. You get me? I know from where I come from in Uganda.
In what prison? No, he's dead. That would have happened. I was having this conversation with my friend and I said, listen, if this was Nigeria now,
they'll get tire and burn him with the tire, fam. Trust me. So, because we're here and we're in Europe and things are done very differently here, the reality is that, yeah, everyone's saying kill him, whatever, but no one ain't going to kill him. So he's, they're going to provide him with mental health help, which is, again, our own taxpayers' money. And yeah, but I think all of us need to come together with this petition for a different measure to be taken place with him. But let's not forget also that there's many more of different color and creeds that are doing the same thing, that need the same energy. I don't want us to lose sight of this cons guy, but I want us to keep sight on the behavior of pedophilia. That's what I want us really to really stay on, like as a community, as a country, as a whole. I think as a country, we need to really tackle the pedophilia, because in this instance, it was a black man, but the same day, someone else was being raped somehow, was white, was Indian. Pedophilia is in all, and the thing is that pedophilia is in all our communities. It's a disgusting thing that is in all our communities. It's not just in one. And we need to tackle that more. Yeah, cool, everyone's giving out his addresses, but I know for a fact there's other people out there that they know that their brethren has done something and they ain't giving up the address. And you might have your reasons, or the situation could be sticky in your mental state or whatever. So I'm not there to judge you on that. But as a whole, as a country, or as an entire nation or whatever, man, like we need to come better than what we're coming with. Those police officers, you didn't need that much police officers to arrest him. You didn't 1 or 2. You didn't need 20 of them. And
they weren't out there. They weren't even all out there to arrest him. They were all out there.
They should have allowed us to throw stones at him. They should have allowed us to just throw stones at him as they arrest him. I mean, we need to, dash something at him. You know what I mean?
They were out here to enforce their Section 60, to get all of those guys off of the street that were there to defend, that were there to find him, that were there before the police were present.
And the thing is as well, Mandem also, I must say, as much as you don't want to go and write this guy off, just remember that if you do that, you're all going to end up doing time. So like if we can keep the violence out of it and find a real solution to the problem, yeah, it's better. Because I know man them want to ride out, and I know the mums want to ride out. Everybody wants to ride out, but the reality is that if you ride out, you're going to do time. That's the reality. And do you know what I mean? Whereas your voice, you're being part of a petition, you know, maybe us coming as a community and marching is going to do so much more than any of us trying to do some punch up Jet Li, Anthony Joshua type thing to this brother. Because the government will protect him. The government will protect him.
Right.
And I'm out. We'll be
no
back.
Organized crime, people. No organized crime, but organized communities and organized protection. That is what we need.
That's it.
Right.
And we'll be back tomorrow.
On that note, we'll be back.
Yeah.
So peace out, love, and prayers and positivity go out to that family. And yeah, stay strong, stay vigilant, guys.
That's it, man. That's the real one for this one.
That's it.
All right, peace.